Yeah, it seems that way. I started at 19 in 1966, and this is 44 years later. So I've been on the scene for 44 years. That's quite a bit, yeah.
I was born in 1963.
Okay. When you were 3, I played with Miles.
That inspired you to get involved with music? What would you say was really made you want to be a musician?
Basically listening to the jazz from Radio Free Europe. I was already at the conservatory playing the bass, and I was playing piano before and violin before that. And I was also very heavily involved with the competition swimming, you know. I was in the Olympic team before I left for America. I was really, you know, I beat the Czech champion, I went to America. He never forgave me. He says, "You beat me and you leave me. You don't give me a chance to beat you back. You know, what's this?" But anyway, so that what really woke up my heart inside. Yeah, for that. And then once when I got to America, of course, all that other stuff went away because I was not home anymore. There was no classical music anymore. There was no swimming. There was no nothing but the jazz. So I just went all the way for it. Automatically, it just happened like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the choice of instrument? What was it that made you choose that instrument, bass, upright?
It didn't really make me. It just came because it was destined. Yeah. I was playing piano at the time, and I went to my uncle's house one day. I think I was about 12 years old or something, or 20, somewhere in there. And there was a bass. He had a bass in the corner there, and I went to the bass and I picked it up and I started playing with it, and wow, it just captured me. And my uncle says, "Take the bass with you, take it home." And that was it. That was the beginning of it. That's it.
That's amazing.
That's how it happened. So you know.
When you worked with Miles, like you said back in the days, how was it when you look back on those times? How do you view those times, and how was it to work with Miles?
It was an unbelievable experience, really. When I walked in there in 1967, it was. I played with some great bands before. I played with Art Farmer, Freddie Hubbard, and Bob Brookmeyer, Clark Terry. You know, I was already in quite a few very, very top bands. But when I walk on the stage with Miles, it was like I'm on the 6th floor. And before, like I was on the 2nd, maybe 3rd floor. So it was like, wow. It was unbelievable. The standard of the musicians was so high, you know, that it was an unbelievable experience, really. The first time. The second time, it was a little different in 1970. Miles was already on the way to the direction where he wanted the rhythm section play kind of the same thing repeated, so you know it goes a little bit more into popish thing, and he left the communication thing. So, and I started to talk with him, you know, with the bass, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it at that point, and so basically I got fired right after the first concert. But 25 years later, Marcus Miller is doing that, and that's okay, you know. So, but it took 25 more years.
But maybe it's because of that period in his life. Maybe he had things going on in that period in his life as well that he, you know, maybe wanted another direction. Well,
sure, yes. Yeah, I'm sure he wanted to go for. I think he was tired of playing in the jazz clubs and all that, and he really wanted to start, which he deserved. There's no, you know, you can't really blame him for that. But he could have, for my own personal opinion, he could have stayed more closer to the communication. He could have done the same thing, and he had the great musicians around him enough so that he could talk with them. But they didn't talk at that time. Everybody kept their role, and they have communicated from a very distant space. You know, they were still communicating, but from a very distant, instead of direct communication. So he could have done the same thing and kept the highest standard which he has just achieved just before that. And this is where I came to the band. I wanted to do that, but Miles decided that he wants it down the ground. I guess he really wanted to make sure that he will become a pop artist or something. I guess.
And he achieved that.
Yeah, he did achieve that. Yeah.
He still sells a lot of records now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Making money for other people.
Yeah, that's it. It's the labels.
Yeah.
Even if you're dead.
Yes, I think I should, because I am kind of in between generations. I'm the one who has played with all the 10 top musicians in the history of jazz since 66, 67. I still play with Kenny Dorham, Blue Mitchell, Lee Morgan. I mean, the whole thing. They can on every instrument, all the saxophone, trumpet, piano, drums, you name it. And I don't think there's anybody else. All the European musicians came a little bit later after me,
Yeah.
so they didn't get a chance to play with these people. And so I'm probably the one who is having all this information. So I probably will have to do that. Yes.
Kind of bridge.
Kind of a bridge, yes, I would say so.
Tell me about your latest work, Miroslav.
The latest work is right now I'm finishing up an album of weather report music, and we are playing. Two drummers are playing instead of one, and it's actually Nasheed Waits and Gerald Cleaver. Fantastic, both of them are fantastic drummers, and basically we have liberated the music of weather report. It's almost done now.
Yeah.
To a point that is free, but it's swinging like hell. But nobody's going chinkum, 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 you know, with all that power and fortissimo. It's swinging by itself is very powerful, and if we can go and play dynamics, we can slow down, ritardando, accelerando. We play a lot of music with it, which is something that the report didn't do because they just had to, you know, march it or something. I don't know, but it was not time for that, you know. But the reason for that, actually, I tell you, is that because the drummers are playing in such a way that because we have gone multidimensional. That's why. The drummers are playing, one is playing in one dimension, the another drummer is playing in another dimension.
Yeah.
And what is created in between is a tunnel of freedom. So everything goes, anything goes. And it's fantastic space because it's really liberated, truly liberated.
Than it used to be.
Oh yeah, you're not tied in one dimension.
Yeah.
You are free, you can freely say and take as much time as you want. Which is important in music because if you play a phrase, and you have to hurry with the phrase because somebody on your back with some rhythm, it doesn't come out. You can't play no dynamics in that kind of situation. It's really almost you cannot even compare it, because I would say like one dimension and then multi-dimension. It's you can't it's whole another many worlds, not just one. Yeah. So that's my latest project.